2013 was an amazing year for games, and this is my top 5 games of last year, 2013. Again, it's just my opinion, so don't be too critical in the comments. This is my opinion. This is the games I played last year that I loved and enjoyed so much, and that's the ones I'm going to recommend in this top 5 list. So, number 5. Metro Last Light was an amazing game when it came out towards the beginning of this year, and I think it's been overlooked a little bit. I enjoyed this game so much. The world was visually amazing, immersive, all these sounds and being in the dark and stuff, and this whole wasteland was just astonishing to play. If you guys haven't played it, please play on the PC, don't play on the console. Try and buy a graphics card or something maybe. I know it's quite hard to say, but the game looked visually on the PC is just astonishing. The whole world is just, there's so much details and stuff being put into it. The sunlight, when you're outside, the wasteland, you've got this mask you have on. You sort of wipe it, you can replace the mask, got these filters and stuff. You have to keep getting it. It just feels so realistic, like a nuclear wasteland that's just amazing. So you got humans at one point. I think the humans are probably the weakest point of the game. The AI is not the best, but being outside in the wasteland, you've got these sort of mutant, nuclear weird creatures that come after you, and they're pretty aggressive, and they take your life down pretty quick. So they're quite scary, a little bit spooky as well. The atmosphere is always very eerie and something's gonna come and attack me very soon. You've got spider webs in your face, and it feels really, really good. It's definitely what I think a first-person shooter should be like, being that character, being in that world. And so I guess the story is based on 2 parts. It's based on the supernatural, which is normally towards the end of the game, and you've got this sort of political theme under the Metro, which is you're trying to work out who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, whether you are the good guy, and it's always that sort of continuing sort of theme going on throughout, and it's always these questions in your mind, and it does keep you thinking. It's just a very, very intense story. Again, it's got no multiplayer to it. It's not the best, I guess, it's not the best first-person shooter this year, but for me, the whole atmosphere and the setting and presentation far beats any other game, I think, presentation-wise. This is by far, I think, one of the best-looking games I've ever played in my entire life, if not the best-looking PC game ever. It's just amazing. Definitely check it out, especially if you see it in the sounds and stuff. Check it out. And let's go straight on to my number 4 title now. So my 4th title is Assassin's Creed 4. This is probably one of my favourite Assassin's Creed games ever, I guess. There's been quite a few different games, I guess, but this is definitely, I think, the pinnacle so far of the Assassin's Creed franchise. The naval stuff, the water effects, Edward is just an amazing character, I think. It's definitely one of the better characters, I think. Probably Ezio and Edward are pretty much equal in my eyes, but I think this game is definitely better. There's still those boring little stereotypical sort of Assassin's Creed missions where I'm sort of following some random guy and he wants to sort of skip by with really dumb dialogue and he just wanted to move forward. But Edward as a character is amazing. The naval stuff with the sea is just so good. I feel like such an epic pirate, and it's got that really cool atmosphere. And also, I think this is definitely the best next-gen game to get. So if you're looking for a next-gen game, I think this one's the best one to get. So AC4 on the PS4 or the Xbox One. Obviously, the PS4 I think is slightly better because it's full HD, but definitely check it out on next-gen. I think it's definitely the best game to get. And yeah, I feel like it's just, they moved on slightly from the current gen as well. So the 360 and the PS3, the graphics do look better. I mean, it's not like a dramatic improvement, but the sea looks, and the sort of tornado things, and it's just such a cool game. But like I said, it does still have those stereotypical missions where you perhaps want to sort of plug along a bit. But the best thing about this game is going exploring for random stuff, exploring for treasures, going into the sea and just exploring different random islands. It's just such a fun experience. You can sink so much time into this game. Obviously, it's got multiplayer as well. Multiplayer is never a thing I get into much for Assassin's Creed games. It's something that I guess some of the hardcore people might get into, but it's never been something I've liked very much. Hopefully, they can do something different next time around, but I'm guessing it'll be just an improvement on the last one, so who knows, but I'd like to see them take that somewhere different now, because it's been the same since Brotherhood, and it's just been the same over and over again with different maps. So change up for us, guys. I want to do something a little bit different and just be sneaky and stab people in the back, which is really annoying after a while if you're not very good, like myself. But I like the whole fact that this Edward character is always based around getting money and stuff. It's a little bit more realistic without this sort of religious weird theme in the background. It's him wanting money, and he's almost uses the assassins to sort of help him out a little bit until sort of the end of the game, I guess. But definitely buy this game. The journey of this game is epic. The story, get to meet Blackbeard for Christ's sake. Can't get any cooler than that. But yeah, like I said, this is a recommended game. This is my fourth on my list. Let's move on to number 3. So the third title in my list is basically called Brothers: The Tale of Two Sons. It's a downloadable title that's come out on the PC, the 360, and also the PS3 now. So when it originally came out, there was literally no press, no advertising for the game at all. A little bit odd, but I managed to actually find it and play it, and I loved it to absolute bits. It was absolutely amazing. It's one of the only titles that actually made me cry this year. I think it was this, and perhaps another title that I might mention soon. Basically, this game is two brothers, as you can probably guess. The left stick is the big brother, and the right stick is the smaller brother. So you got to try and control both of them with the both sticks, which is quite difficult. It can be quite difficult. So basically, if you like a very long-term game, I've been playing games forever. Obviously, used to like walking with one stick and obviously looking around. So it does get a little bit confusing at some points. But as soon as you start playing for a little bit, the first like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you get into it. So once you have the controls down, you basically get to these puzzles where you got to try and interact with both thumbsticks. You got to try and move stuff around. It does become quite difficult. The puzzles are quite simple, but they're quite rewarding as well. So you're just glad that you finish this puzzle and can basically get through it nice and quick. Because the main purpose of this game is to basically save your dad. Your dad's been injured or something, or he's not feeling well. You have to go to this big massive tree to basically find this potion which will save your dad. But obviously stuff happens on the way. You meet random characters and stuff, and you got to go through the village, and you got to go through mountains and stuff, and through some very weird places, like big massive human org things. I know it's really weird, but it's such a good game. It's quite a short game. That's the only bad thing about this game. It's too short. It's around 3 hours long, 2 to 3 hours long, maybe a little bit more, depending on if you explore a little bit more. But the game is very, very short, and it's actually quite pricey as well. So that's the only bad thing about this game, but I loved it to bits. And even the very last bit is so cleverly done. I don't want to go into it too much, but basically the smaller brother can't swim, and something happens with that at the end, and it's just amazing. And it's very, very clever as well. So please check this game out. It's one of those indie games I think everyone has to play, and definitely check it out. Especially if it goes into the Steam sale again. Just buy it. GameRiot recommends, or check out some more content on my channel with it as well, because it is worth checking out. It's just such a good story. There's literally no dialogue as well. It's like this, I guess you can describe it as Sims language. It's weird, but yeah. Check it out, and I'll see you guys for my second title. So the second game on my list is GTA 5. It's finally came out after all the years of preparation. It finally came out, and I loved it to bits. It's one of those games I just sunk so much time into when it came out. I loved doing the series online. It was absolutely amazing going through single player with you guys. A lot of people watched it, and that was astonishing as well. I just loved every minute of playing this game. There's so much stuff to do, lots of side missions and extra bits and activities. The world is just immersed with stuff to do. It's just absolutely crazy. And I don't know, I want to see more of this world almost. I just want to see more content, more missions and stuff in a single player. I have to admit, the online experience for me hasn't been as good as I hoped. The first time I saw that online trailer, I was like, oh my god, this will be so much fun or something. And just, I don't know, I could never get into it enough. I'm not sure if it's the fact my close friends never played it, maybe with me, or that sounds really lonely, doesn't it? But you know what I mean, like close friends playing it and then having fun with it and just jerking around and doing random stuff. I never really got into it. The whole start of the online experience was terrible. No one could connect. It was it was a mess. But considering the amount of people playing that game, the biggest sales ever in media ever, that's probably why the online didn't work. It's just too many people trying to get into one server, and obviously it's just going to crash and cause lots of problems. But let's talk about single player for a bit. Trevor was one of the most amazing characters ever in gaming for me. I loved seeing every scene with him. Obviously, he was very, very violent, very, very aggressive. Watching that particular scene with the torture is awkward, to say the least, but I loved him as a character. I think Steve, the guy that acted him, was just amazing, and I want to see him do a lot more gaming, hopefully, and in like other games, and hopefully portray other characters and stuff. And I think he done an awesome job. I think Michael done a good job as well. Franklin also did a good job. I think all three actors really got into the role. It's like watching a film almost, and that's a strange experience at times. Like the cutscenes were like literally I was watching a story, then I get to play it, which is awesome. The heists were amazing. Getting to pick like different like ways to go about the missions, where it goes stealthy or like very aggressive. I always went for stealthy really, but the ways you could obviously, like, you can go back and redo them and stuff, and you can change your approach, and that's awesome. I like stuff like that. Keep doing more of that, GTA and Rockstar. But of course, the online experience wasn't like we wanted. Said that already, but stuff like the character animations, the cutscenes, the story, the whole open world. I don't know how this visually looked this good on the current or the last gen consoles. It looks amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't know how they did it, but it looked good. It ran at pretty much a 30 frames per second. Obviously, it had random pop-ins at times, but the world was insanely massive, so I don't mind that at all. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely a game worth checking out. I loved it to bits. I sunk a lot of time into it, lots of time, like God knows how many hours, and I enjoyed it a lot. So definitely check it out. It's on my second game of the year list, and that's a pretty big achievement. Let's go on to number 1. For me last year has to be The Last of Us. It just outright beats everyone, hands down for me. It was an easy decision. I think when I actually played the game, I was like, yep, this is game of the year for me. It was just astonishing story, amazing graphics, amazing combat. The characters were amazing as well, and I think this has to make Naughty Dog one of the best developers in the world, if not the best, by far for me. That game was this good. This game's almost as good. It's almost as good as me going to you guys, buy a PS3 just to play this game, because it's literally it's that good. Or wait for that weird PlayStation Now happening or whatever. Please play it at some point in your life. It's so good, guys. Really, really play it. I don't want to go into the story too much, but we're going to go about just talking about combat and the visuals and stuff like that. So, got 2 characters, Joel and Ellie. Ellie quickly becomes the character that you really love in this game. It just happens very, very quickly. You endear to her. She's like just an endearing character, and you just want to follow her story and keep her safe. And as Joel, you do whatever you can to keep her safe. And that's you take on the role as Joel, the daddy figure of the whole story. And you got that Joel, which is basically a character where you question his morals. Has he gone too far? The story starts out with something happening that causes this, I guess, but he does everything to survive, and I completely understand that. But you come to certain points in the story where you're like, is this a bit too far? Has this gone too far? And you get to question this in your head. And obviously, I think the ending leaves you hanging as well. So yeah, I really want to see more. Part of me wants to see this game, that's it. Last of Us, that's it. But part of me really wants to see Last of Us 2 as well. So either way, I think I'll be happy. If Naughty Dog go on to make something else, I guess they are. They're doing the new Uncharted game on the PS4. But if they don't make Last of Us again, I will be completely fine with that, to be honest. I'll be gutted, but I'll be very happy as well, I guess. I don't want to like ruin this experience for me, like by making a crappy sequel, or Joel comes back or something, or Ellie comes back. I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon, but let's talk about the combat for a second. I'm going to lose my words, but let's go into the combat. So you've got humans you fight, which is I think that's normally towards, it sort of happens in the middle, I guess. Happens in the middle and a bit towards the end. Humans are very intelligent, they work together, they chat a lot, and they're sort of, if you do something like you can make a sound, they will come at you, and they will try and surround you, and you've got to try and basically got this ability to like craft stuff off things you find on the floor, like scissors, fabric, salts, alcohol, and everything like that. You got like wooden planks you can make as well. You can make Molotovs, and you got to try and make stuff all really very quickly, like health packs, and it makes it very, very intense because obviously crafting stuff takes time. You're trying to make stuff to sort of heal yourself up, and it's like, oh my god. And obviously they're trying to like come towards you. Bullets are very rare as well. Trying to find a good bullet to put in your gun is quite hard at times, and so you got to try and rely on like weapons, like melee weapons. And some of the combat is gross. I mean, you literally smack heads against tables, against walls, and you see it visually. You see it. It's blood everywhere. It's scars and stuff. It's even more weird. We see basically what they call infected. It's like a fungus infection. So it's like a sort of taken away, they're going like a frenzy, and they just want to eat you basically, which is quite scary. It's basically like a zombie, but it's not. They're very, very quick as well. We've got runners which run at you, and they're pretty much like they still look like humans as well. So they're very, very, they can tell they're infected, but they look like humans. They still have memories and stuff, and they sort of say random stuff which really spooks you out as well. They sort of like speak in the corner like, what you're talking to yourself, and it's really, really disconcerting. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And when you like strangle them, you can see them like really struggling to breathe and stuff, and then like they're trying to get your hand out of the way, and they're still human in there. And clickers are just odd and very, very spooky. They make a very odd sound. They've got no eyesight because the fungus has sort of overtaken their head, and they sort of lose their vision. And they basically use this sort of click sound to sort of make, I guess it's basically what blind people do to sort of work out their surroundings. And so basically if you make any noise, they will come at you and eat you very, very quickly. They're very, very strong, but they're obviously blind. So you can use it against them. So you can throw bricks to sort of distract them or anything like that. But the combat is so intense at times. And when you start running out of materials and you've got to try and do a health pack in time, and you've got like hordes of stuff coming towards you, humans or whatever, it's just like, what the hell, man? It's so difficult. And you always got this sort of thing in the back of your head. We've got to try and save Ellie. You've got to keep Ellie safe. And yeah, it's an amazing game to play. It's just definitely, please buy this game at some point. Please check it out. I know the PlayStation Now is going to do some such streaming on the Bravia TVs and stuff. So please just find some way of playing this game. It's going to be a game that you really get into and love a lot. If you're not sure about this yet, go and check out my walkthrough of it, because I did do a whole walkthrough of the game. Also done some multiplayer stuff as well. The multiplayer is actually quite a big surprise. So it takes all those elements of crafting and stuff into like this multiplayer experience where you can basically you can sort of see through walls at times. Obviously you can't do it for a certain amount of time, but basically I think Joel does this like an instinct thing where you can sort of look through walls and tell where the clickers are, and basically you can do it online as well. So the online is actually very cool. It's got all the elements of single player mashed into the multiplayer, and it's a lot of fun to play. So you got like barely no bullets, you got like no armor, and you die pretty quickly, and you got like quite gruesome deaths again where you got like knives in your neck, and it's just very gross. But it's very cool. Definitely worth checking out as well. But yes, easily my game of the year. Smashes every game I think this year, and I loved it to bits. I would even say, like I said, buy a PS3 just to play this game. That's how good this game is. Play it now, or at least watch it. Anyway, hope you guys in this video. Let me know in the comments what your guys' game of the year was, and I'll see you guys hopefully for some more videos in 2014. Bye bye.